but also I think she's from like New York. Anyhow, the point is,
Hispanic person from New York? Well, I'd never.
She has Sicilian ancestry, and her father is Puerto Rican born. So, anyhow, she is a very attractive woman and was an actress on Once Upon a Time, where she played the evil queen. Moving along.
All our shit's
Riveting.
working. I'm ready to start the show. You guys ready to start the show?
Yes.
All
Yes,
right.
somebody please stop me from talking.
5,
Shut up.
4, 3,
Play David's game first.
2, 1, go.
Welcome to Game That Tune.
Oh, yeah. What is going on, everybody? It is Game That Tune back in the house once again. It's ya boy, John Harrington here. We got John Regan with us. Say hey.
Hey.
We got Jesse Moore. Say hey.
Hey.
And we've got David Fleming. Say hey.
Hey.
Oh, man, early burp on the stream. Welcome back to Game That Tune, everybody. This is the internet's one and only video game music guessing game show. And if you're just joining us here on Game That Tune, what we are going to do is play some video game tunes. We've each brought 3 songs from a game. We're going to try and guess each other's games based on the songs with a little bit of trivia. We're going to goof off, have a lot of fun. And the winner at the end of the night gets to pick the theme for the next episode and play some bonus tunes. And David Fleming won our show last week. So, David, why don't you tell everybody about the fantastic theme for this week's episode?
I believe the theme that I chose was games featuring water, either bodies of water, just by the shore, just going out for a swim, games with water.
Gotcha, yeah. It's funny. It's like, explain the theme. It's like, I don't think we ever really hammered out that theme. But yes, games with water. It's the start of summer. We're all feeling beachy and tropical, especially me and Jesse, because we actually live, in Florida near something resembling tropical weather. And it's gonna be a good show, man. It's gonna be as relaxing and laid back as a day at the beach. I'm sure of it. This show, people have described this show in many ways, and relaxing is one that comes up a lot. So I think we got a great episode tonight. Hope you got a delicious cocktail, a little umbrella in it. Get a little sand in your toes, a little sunscreen on your nose. Feel those waves crashing in. I'm running out of beach cliches here. Johnny, help me out.
Oh, man, let's see. Make sure that you put your keys somewhere safe. If you don't want to carry them with you through the beach, make sure you don't bother bringing your cell phone down to the beach. You'll just get sandy. That's not worth it. What other beach
Make
tips?
sure you hide your hot dog from the seagulls.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Hope you brought your flippy floppies. The sand gets pretty hot. You don't want to be walking on that with bare feet, unless you're like me. You got big calluses.
Surfboard wax sticks better if you apply it while it's still cool. So apply your surfboard wax before heading out to go surf. If you're already applying it at the beach, it's just gonna roll right off and not work as well.
Yep.
Make
He's
sure
right.
you eat plenty of citrus to fight off scurvy.
Oh, yes. And, real pro tip from my experience, buy some of those Lay's lightly salted chips, because the last thing you want when you get out of the ocean is a super salty potato chip. You already had a bunch of salt water in your mouth. It's so silly to drink salt water and eat salty chips. Am I right?
And don't forget to do the Stingray Shuffle, which is when it's Stingray season, you got to walk with your feet, kind of shuffle them in front of you. Because if you step on a stingray, you're going to get fucked up. So there's when you go down near the beach, especially in Tampa, there's signs that say, don't forget to do the Stingray Shuffle. And it's real weird.
That's good to know. I
So
thought when you first said that, my mind went straight to like jellyfish and piss, and I'm like, no, wait, that's not it at all. Like,
I mean, that is-
you don't piss on a stingray attack. Like,
That is what you're supposed to do, though. Is if you get stung by a jellyfish, you got to pee on it.
not true. It doesn't do anything. It's a fucking weird superstition.
Really?
It doesn't help.
I feel like that's more of a tropical thing because we don't get many stingrays in Lake Michigan. Like,
God, that'd be so funny if you did, though.
Yeah, the jellyfish thing was my best excuse for peeing on people. I gotta find something new now.
Yeah, exactly.
Game
It's always
one.
a story to tell here on Game That Tune. So John's piss story coming up. We got 5 great games. We've got a
Episode
fantastic
title.
Already episode title.
And let's do it, Johnny. Let's load that cooler up and haul it down to the water for game 1.
Game 1.
Piss.
One of the puzzles featured in this game required the use of the game's manual, meaning that digital distributions of this game are technically impossible to complete. I feel like I haven't gone first in a long time. This is exciting. Who's got some answers?
I'll mix that drink in a minute.
Boom! Play the hat trick sound. Everybody says Star Tropics.
Welcome to Game That
God damn it.
Tune.
Nailed it.
Well done.
This is Star Tropics for the NES.
Fantastic, man. I'm glad that this is finally on the show. This is one of those forgotten classics.
Yeah.
I didn't think anybody else had played this.
Please, this was a multi-time Albertsons rental for me back in the day, baby.
See, and that's the thing. Like, I'm glad that you brought that up because I was literally going to use that exact phrase, Albertsons rental, because I never played this on the NES, but it came to Virtual Console and I didn't buy it, and then it came to the Switch Online service where it was free, and I was like, well, I've heard good things about this game, so I started playing it Switch Online, and man, this game is fun, and I
Yeah.
feel like if I had rented this from Albertsons when I was a kid, this would have been one of my favorite games. Like, this game
absolutely.
is pretty fucking cool.
No, this game has Young David written all over. I thought you had played this as a kid, like, you know, a fucking adventure game where it's, you know, reminiscent of like the original Legend of Zelda, but you're playing as a kid with a yo-yo, you know, with some island stuff. You know, yeah, I thought this was Young David to a T.
Yeah, it's kind of like, what if The Legend of Zelda met Adventure Island, but starring me? And that's a game that I wanted to play.
So, you know, I haven't played Star Tropics in a long time. I haven't actually yet, you know, bothered playing it on the Switch Online service. I know I need to. In what way is the character you? So I'm sorry, is the character a... I don't want to be rude. I was going to say scrawny
Wow.
jackass, but
Wow.
Well, in the sense that, like, and that's while researching the game for this episode, it's like, apparently, you know, shockingly, most Nintendo games were targeted towards a Japanese audience. Who'd have figured? But this game was like deliberately designed for a Western release and was never released in Japan. So like the
Really?
main character is just like an average teenager that they considered like from the West, like from America. Like, he loves baseball. He uses a yo-yo. His name is Mike Jones, which...
who?
Damn it, that's why I didn't want to bring up his name. Well, because, like, as I was researching this, like, the game came out in, like, 1990 or so, and Michael was the most popular name, and Jones was, like, the third or fourth most popular last name in America at that time. Like, they were really catering to a Western audience for this.
Uh-huh.
But the game is pretty damn cool. Because it does the same, like, Zelda-style overworld, and then you go into a dungeon with a top-down view. But instead of, like, a fantasy setting, it's all set in, like, the tropical regions. You have a submarine that you go from island to island.
I do love that it starts out on Sea Island, which is an island shaped like a big sea. Like, you know,
Yeah, that was
cool.
pretty on the nose.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big crescent-shaped island. It's like, call it Crescent Island, Moon Island, you know, the Lunar Island, something like that. No, it's Sea Island. Like, oh, okay, great, cool. This is gonna
Calls
be
him
really
like I sees him.
exactly. What's that look like to you, man? Bayonetta logo? No, motherfucker, it's a big C. Oh, yeah, okay, I see it too.
Now I just want them to make a Star Tropics 3 where you go to Bayonetta Island.
I mean, dude, Star Tropics Bayonetta crossover. That's you know, even more American than what Japan thought Star Tropics was. Like, yeah.
So,
Mike Jones explored an island with a bunch of big titted witches. Like,
Whoa.
yeah, let's have it.
Who is Mike Jones?
Mike
Who?
Jones. Okay, what John is alluding to, Mike Jones is a rapper, but
Yeah,
also Mike Jones is also the main character of Star Tropics, who is an American teenager whose uncle, Dr. Jones, is a famous archaeologist.
Wait,
Think on that for however long
Wait.
it takes.
wait. Are
I
you
see.
saying
Whoa.
this is Indiana Jones 4?
I mean,
they already have
I'm
that. I
I'm
mean,
not
eventually. they-
saying that it's not.
But yeah, man. So in the game, you play as Mike Jones. He's looking for a dime.
Da, da, da.
He's looking for a dime that's top of the line. Cute face, slim waist with a big behind. He's looking for a bad bitch. Drop it down, shake it around if you're a bad bitch. That's my Mike Jones references. David, keep talking about the actual game.
I was just saying, like, that's why I really didn't want to bring up his name because I knew you were going to go off on a tangent. It's like, no, but the game is actually fun.
Duh.
Like,
Come on.
it's hard. It's NES hard. But the one thing that I enjoy is your main weapon is a yo-yo, so you're just like constantly attacking in front of you, kind of like a sword step. It really is just The Legend of Zelda, but set in the tropics.
Yeah, exactly. You're attacking in front of you with a swipe of a yo-yo, or like the swing of a sword, maybe.
But you do get other weapons. You get a torch, which you can throw at you. You can get a baseball bat, which you swing in front of you. I believe you collect a magical shuriken for some reason. Although
America loves shuriken.
Well, they really did at the time.
Well, yeah.
I assume you're in like
a Ninja Turtle mania.
Yeah.
I assume you're in like a Pacific island, so maybe there's a shipwreck ninja or something.
Listen, yeah, there's a big floating garbage patch in the Pacific, and most of it's shuriken. We all know that. So.
the great,
do collect,
great
like,
Pacific shuriken patch.
It's weird because like the game kind of grounds you in like a science, like realistic world. Like you have a submarine, you're exploring alien ruins on these islands, but then you get like random weird magical things. Like you get a snowman doll that just magically freezes every enemy on the screen, and I don't understand how that works, but it's in the game.
It's a bit of a walk, but snow, ice, cold, freeze. I mean, sure, let's go with it.
But I mean, you'd imagine you'd get like an alien freeze ray or something. It's like, oh, you found a snowman toy. Okay, everything is frozen. Like, how the fuck does that work?
I'm glad you
David,
finally keyed in on the one absurd aspect of Star Tropics.
God, can you imagine if as a kid you built a snowman and everybody you knew froze? Like, that would really fuck you up.
No,
you never
it's
built
like,
a snowman again.
They all got reverse frosted. You built a snowman and they all froze. Oh no, they're all dead.
Considering the fact that I didn't build a snowman until I was like 27 years old, like I'm pretty sure that I wasn't going to build one as a child anyway.
And how many people died, David?
Yeah. At what cost?
I try not to think about it.
Yeah.
Do I need to snap them back into existence?
What did it cost? Everything.
God, I would love to see a Frosty movie where when Frosty comes to life, everybody else dies, and it's like this horror film.
I am Frosty. Just I am Legend, but he's a snowman. and he goes to the tropics. He goes to Star Tropics. Let's stay on track.
It's instead of zombies everywhere, it's just suns.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, Star Tropics is a fun game. The one thing that I do think is weird about this game is, so when you go into like an overworld dungeon view, you can jump, which isn't that unusual, but like, you know how in Metroid or like in Zelda, you just have to like bomb or burn like random walls and bushes to find stuff? Like Star Tropics is the same thing, but you just jump on tiles until you find a switch.
Right.
So like every time you find like a random piece of ground, just jump on it. Maybe you'll find something. Like
that's the thing that always bugged me about this game, is it was kind of, it like you said, NES hard, and it was just kind of like, well, just make sure you step on every available tile in every room, and eventually you'll find your way. And it's like, no, okay, that's a little bit much. Like, because if a door opens in front of me, I tend to go in that door first. But it's like sometimes you don't want to go in that door. You want to step on this other tile and open a door at the top of the screen. It's like, okay, no. This whole jump on every possible tile thing's a little exhausting, but
and that's what it's like. Zelda had it right, where like you pass a wall and there's a crack in it. Like, maybe there's something behind that. But then
very big obvious crack.
But then Star Tropics is like, hey, did you step on that tile? Well, no, because I was walking over here to fight this snake or whatever enemy. Like, yeah, you should step on that tile.
Step on the tile,
what?
bro.
There's a tile. Yeah. Step on it.
Yeah, there's 4 tiles. You only stepped on 3. Did you step on that 4th tile? Okay, I'll try. Hey, look, another door. Wow. But But yeah, man, this game's cool though, man. I'm glad, it's funny. This also is one of the games that famously the internet crowd is always like bringing up, like, man, who's left for Smash Brothers? When are we getting Mike Jones? And it's like, I don't think we need Mike Jones. Like, it would have been nice if they put him in years ago instead of the Ice Climbers, but like, is Star Tropics famous or popular enough to get into Smash Brothers? I'd argue no.
Well, and I like, because I've seen those people who are like, oh, Mike Jones deserves Smash. Like, yeah, we totally need like a young boy from America who fights with a yo-yo and a bat in Smash Brothers. Wait, we've had that since day one.
But this one's from a different game, David. It's
Do you think maybe this Nintendo Online service is just a ploy to reintroduce us to old games so they can bring them into Smash later?
Yeah, like Banjo-Kazooie.
I wish that was true because I want Takamaru on Nintendo Online Switch.
Yes. But anyway, yeah, no, I mean, Mike Jones is cool, but yes, no, his moveset is at this point redundant within Smash Brothers. So, no, it's fine. But the last thing to touch on really is I do love the unsolvable puzzle that occurs when you don't play this with the original manual. Does everybody know about this? Is it just me and David thing? I love the things they like thought of back in these days. Like, there's a letter in your manual.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, and allegedly it was an anti-piracy and anti-rental device where you had to have the manual, because the manual included a letter from your uncle to you saying like, oh, I'm going on this tropical adventure, blah, blah, blah. And then the game actually prompts you to put the letter into water, which reveals hidden ink that reveals like a frequency for your radio to like progress later into the game. You can't progress further unless you have that frequency. And
well, I mean, that's the thing. You can guess at it, but it's like it's a 3-digit code, so you have 1,000 guesses.
And I don't remember if it's the Switch version. It might be the Wii version.
It's one of the version. I know this.
That it has like, if you go to like the digital version of the manual, when you get to that screen, it has a GIF of the letter being pushed into water and exposing the message.
Yeah. No, I mean, people give Nintendo shit about the Wii U, and that system was a mess, but they really tried to go above and beyond on certain things, like including the complete Earthbound Player's Guide viewable as a PDF when you downloaded the Earthbound on Virtual Console, and yes, including an animation of someone hand-dipping the Star Tropics letter to reveal the secret code in the manual. That's dope.
I honestly would have probably been taking the Wii U gamepad and dipping it in water to try to reveal the message.
I did that anyway out of hatred, but
it's good that they did that.
Damn you, Pikmin 3!
Which is actually where I first like really started researching this game, because there's an old webcomic called Brawl in the Family. If you've never seen it, check it out. It's awesome. But it's basically like a Nintendo-centric webcomic, and they did a video for one of their like milestones where they did the history of Nintendo, and at some point they show an animation of a dude like dipping paper into water. It's like, what the hell is that about? It's like, oh, it's a Star Tropics reference. I should play Star Tropics. So then, when the game came out, it's like, I'm going to play this. And after a couple hours, like, this game's fucking fun.
It is, man. But yeah, I love the like the letter dipping thing, because it, I'm trying to think of other games that fuck with you to like manipulate real world things, and the thing I keep landing on is like Metal Gear, where it's like, you gotta on Genesis, what was it, the X-Men game?
Yeah,
where
I was gonna say like Metal Gear and X-Men on Genesis.
Yeah, you got X-Men Genesis where it tells you to reset the system, which is fucking insane. But in Metal Gear, how they fucking every time they've re-released Metal Gear Solid, they've had to include the same image on the package showing Meryl's radio frequency to avoid this exact problem. You know, that you don't know Meryl's frequency, and the colonel says like, "Oh, Snake, wasn't there something on the package?" And it's like, what the fuck is he talking about? Then you look on the game case, and one of the screenshots is the fucking radio thing, and it says Meryl, and it's like, oh, okay, that's how you get it. And literally, they've had to do that. That's the image on the PlayStation 1 Classic box for Metal Gear Solid 1 is the fucking codec thing. It's like, they know you have to include this, even though people can look it up now. They still keep including that. And Nintendo, they fucked up a little bit. They didn't do anything for the Switch release. No letter dip, no fucking thing when you pause the game. Like, they dropped the ball just a little bit, but I love it when games do insane shit like that.
I mean, this was like augmented reality before augmented reality was a concept.
Yeah. Mom, the game says I need to throw the manual in water. It's like, no.
We paid good money for this. You're not putting that in water.
Exactly. That manual is fantastic, and we're going to get some, real collector's value out of it. You're not dipping anything.
Because my mother constantly told me about the collector's value of my NES games.
Hell no, you're not opening that. That thing's sealed in box.
Do you know how valuable an undipped manual is? This is like the Beatles butcher cover all over again.
Oh, David's mom, the hardcore video game collector. Someone we need to have on the show, quite frankly. But David, anything else on Star Tropics?
No, Star Tropics is cool, and I sincerely wish that more games had like tropical settings.
Yeah,
it is an untapped well.
As though there's not 4 more games coming right now to hit that theme. Johnny, let's keep it going to game 2.
Game 2.
All right, guys. So I'm kind of sort of breaking our rules a little bit because I'm playing music from a port of this game that was never released in the U.S. But there was a port. There was a port for another console release in the U.S. I just couldn't find music for it, so bear with me on this one. Dave Freer of Nintendo Life claimed that this game was crap. Now, I do have a second piece of trivia for you.
Thank God, I haven't written anything yet.
Yeah, I wanted to do this 1 second so you don't have time to Google it. Sean Baby called this game the most horrible thing to ever be put inside a Virtual Boy.
Oh, okay. The tip-off was the end. You forget, I own a Virtual Boy.
All right, John, just moving it too fast, David. Okay, everyone. Thanks, John. Everyone said Waterworld. Everyone is correct.
Thanks for saying Virtual Boy.
Yes.
Yes.
I wanted to give this one out, like, because
In the podcast version, after the hat trick sound, can we please have the sound clip of Dennis Hopper saying it does look like shit?
There will be many Dennis Hopper clips in the podcast version. That guy is the only person in that entire movie that realized how shitty the movie they were making was. Like, oh God.
See, and the funny thing was, as soon as I chose this theme, it was like, I picked this theme because I really wanted to play Star Tropics, but I should go with Waterworld for Virtual Boy.
I kind of wish you had. It would have been great if you picked that, and then Johnny picked this non-Virtual Boy Waterworld, and we got two Waterworlds on the same game. Johnny,
I love.
what's the story here, man?
So, Waterworld for Virtual Boy, according to Wikipedia, is the game is focused around the main character's trimaran. You know, three pontoon.
It's a
boats.
boat.
Which the player moves around in a 3D world, shooting enemies on personal watercrafts called smokers. It's a form of 3D shoot 'em up similar to that of All Range Mode in Star Fox 64. I
Is
looked
Dennis
this up.
Hopper in it?
This is nothing like the All Range Mode in Star Fox 64. Like, this isn't even close.
I was gonna say, if I remember, like, once I bought my Virtual Boy, I started looking up games for Virtual Boy. I was like, it's basically 3D Defender.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you move around. You got victims in the water drowning. You got people on like jet skis trying to get them, and you're shooting the people on the jet skis. And there's no, like, I guess it's kind of got a 3D effect, but there's no scenery besides like a sunset in the background. So it's just like there's no water ripples. It's just like black with people and
It's also red.
It gives you no sense of like death or of things being there. It's really bad.
I
and
love
then
it.
you basically just play the same level again and again and again and again. Which I guess is like an arcade game, but I feel like on a Virtual Boy, you don't want you need something to change between levels. Like, this is ridiculous.
It's almost like you're saying the Virtual Boy on a conceptual level is terrible.
Yeah. Now, one thing that's interesting is
Wow.
the Super Nintendo version of this was single player. Somehow, the Virtual Boy version of this supports 9 players.
Could you imagine
Wow!
getting 8 other people with Virtual Boys and
No.
Waterworld and wanting to play Waterworld?
That's the thing. The Virtual Boy had no link cable. I think you just get 8 friends to come over and you all take turns playing Waterworld.
No,
one
the,
at
the
a
Virtual
time.
Boy
That's
did have a link
worse.
cable, but it only linked 2 systems. So how you got, what, 9 people? I don't know.
9 of all the numbers.
I assume that it's 8 people standing, one person plays the game, and they tell you how well they did, but you have no idea because you can't actually see what they're doing.
I
You're not even
assume it's
watching
some
them play
sort
the
of
game. You're just watching them sit still.
yeah, sit
That's
there
what
with
I
their
was gonna
face
say,
to
is
the
like-
thing, like
The Virtual Boy had a link cable, so you could pair up systems. So any amount of multiplayer divisible by 2, I understand, but 9, that
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
I mean, unless it's some sort of horrifying human centipede situation. I just don't understand how you get more than 2 players playing Virtual Boy. It's
Okay,
like-
so we fused 9 of you ass to mouth together. Now you have to play Virtual Boy.
Yes,
Oh God, kill me now!
once you, it's like a, I don't know, it's like a cable thing. Like once your mouth is connected to the next person's ass, you see through their eyes and see into the Virtual Boy. Yeah, it's got to be
Oh.
it, right? Like,
I just
how
like
could
the
it not
idea of 9 people being fused ass to mouth, and then once they bring in the Virtual Boy controller, they're like, "Okay, here's the point where you need to kill me.
I've never
This is too
thought.
far."
I've never thought.
I was fine with the human centipeding, but the Virtual Boy, that's too much.
I never thought that there'd be a moment where the phrase "the black and red cave that is your prostate" is appropriate. But here we are.
Back again, baby.
Woo!
It's the return.
We have a
to
God,
the
I'm
cave.
so glad we got a second Virtual Boy on here.
But we didn't, because John
I mean,
chose
yeah.
the SNES version.
Yeah, and it's just
But
as
even-
crap.
I mean, even still, the
I-
fact that we're talking about Virtual Boy twice on Game That Tune fills the cockles of my heart with a warmth.
You got cockles in your heart.
You
Yeah, I
should
do.
see a doctor quick.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But anyway, yeah. So Johnny, so the Super NES version though released only in Europe.
Yes.
I have to assume it was a platformer or something, right? Like,
Nope. It's a.
it's the same thing.
Well, except from an isometric perspective, right? So, but same basic idea: cruise around water, shooting guys on jet skis, saving people that are drowning.
Well, I guess it really wouldn't make sense for it to be a platformer since there's in the movie Waterworld there's really only one set, so you can only get like one level out of it. Fuck. That sounds terrible.
It is. Oh,
Oh.
and it was developed by Ocean.
Oh, that seems like it should get a Mario 2 sound just on its own.
Ocean
That- I mean-
had it again.
I'm just
Waterworld
saying-
developed by Ocean. Come on, man. That's synergy you just can't pay for, baby.
I'm just sitting here laughing to myself about Waterworld on Super Nintendo only available in Europe. Like the Super Nintendo had 49 million sales worldwide. How was this only released in one market?
I'm assuming it has something to do with the fact that Waterworld, the property on which this was based, was such a fucking fiasco. Like, no
even s-
one wanted to play this because no one wanted to revisit the world of Waterworld.
But even still, it's like, oh, we made a game for what is literally the most popular platform right now. Let's release it in one territory,
Mhm.
nothing else.
Yeah, I got nothing, man.
It costs
I-
money
I-
to
Test
release
market.
it. They probably didn't want to spend the money to release it. Like,
Yeah, exactly. It takes money to fucking put all those cartridges together
Yeah.
and send them places. They
The-
probably just cut their fucking losses.
Yeah, the form
But
factor is different between the European and US cartridges. That's a whole different build process now.
But even still, to release in Europe, you have to localize it in like 16 different languages.
or not.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just in the,
How
the
many?
kings.
How much text do you really think is in that game?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's
I
a
love
lot.
the idea.
How much
See, now
dialogue
I
was
lo-
in that fucking movie? Like
See, now
Kevin
I love
Costner
the-
doesn't say shit.
Now I
Oh,
love the
he
idea
says
of
too much.
Waterworld being released on Super Nintendo in Europe, but only in like French, not in
Or-
any other languages.
It would be great if it turned out in the development process there was literally no dialogue. Like, this is the easiest thing ever. We'll just put it out in Europe. Fuck America. Like, yeah, why would they want it? Like,
Should we release it in Japan? No, they know where our home office is. They'll storm us with pitchforks and torches.
exactly. Like the smokers in that movie. No, that's not what they did.
So what you're saying is they were
ooh, fuck
protecting
that
us.
movie. Yes. They knew it was best.
So Ocean Software was based out of England, so I'm betting that it was released in Europe more as a favor between somebody at Ocean and some distributor. Like
Yep.
they probably some guy at Ocean was like, "Come on, man! Like we spent so much money on this fucking game, we gotta sell it." And he was able to convince some friend of his in Europe to do it, but couldn't do the same elsewhere. That's my guess.
I like it because it's a Kevin Costner thing released solely by an English company. And Kevin Costner so famously is so good at doing an English accent. It makes sense. Yeah.
Now, surprisingly,
Wasn't he Robin Hood?
the Virtual Boy
Yeah.
was a U.S. exclusive.
Wait, the Virtual Boy itself, or
Oh.
you mean the version?
The Virtual Boy game.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Virtual Boy came out elsewhere. Sadly. 9 great
Waterworld.
weeks of the Virtual Boy.
That sounds like a really good autobiography.
Yeah,
I feel like I should run downstairs and grab my Virtual Boy and just pull it up to have as a prop for the rest of the episode.
I would love it if you got it, opened that window behind you, and threw it away on stream. Like, why do I have this?
I love that
Don't
it's
do
kind of become like a collector's item, but I remember when you could go to JCPenney and get it for $15, like when they were just trying to get
Yeah.
rid of them.
Yeah, that's fucking hilarious. You should have gotten several of them to go along with all your Sega Saturns.
Saturns.
You could have tried to link those all together.
Johnny and his
I'm trying to link my
failed
Virtual Boy to
consoles.
my Sega Saturn, and it just told me to kill myself. This is a mistake.
Whoa.
What a science done!
Yeah, I really wanted to play Waterworld on the Saturn.
Oh man!
That is a dream combination right there. Like, that is the pristine crossover. Waterworld on Saturn.
There was a
Controlled
canceled.
via a Virtual Boy.
There is a canceled Sega Saturn port of this game that was going to
What?
feature. It was going to feature a 3D
Of
virtual
course
ocean.
there fucking is.
I'm dying.
Wow, that
Would have
amazing.
been the most. That would have been the poster child for ill-advised everything, like the Sega Saturn version of Waterworld.
Well, that's what I love about Waterworld. It's like Waterworld on Virtual Boy. Like, that's everything you need to know about both of these properties.
I'm glad that they managed to cancel that because, yeah, if somebody had put Waterworld into a Sega Saturn, it would have created a singularity of failure, and we would have all been consumed by it. Like,
The black
Awesome.
hole failure.
yeah, exactly. Just, no!
Sucks.
How's the universe end? With Waterworld on the Saturn.
It sucks in all the world's Virtual Boys. Sucks in all the world's ska bands. Just
All the other infinite universes, just it's like, man, that really sucked for them. They, we all knew better. Like,
Man, now, like, Waterworld on Sega Saturn. That's going to be the name of my new ska band.
fuck you. That's great.
Yeah, I would
agree.
buy that album.
Yeah.
I
I've
wasn't
been
trying to
digging this
offend you.
guy.
I was being serious. I
No.
want to start a ska band called
Trying to honor
Waterworld
you.
on Sega Saturn.
I'm not offended. Like I hate it and I love it. It's perfect.
You hate me because I thought of it first.
Are we talking about ska in general or just that band name?
Both.
Anyway, Johnny, anything else on water?
You know,
a game so appropriate for this theme that we haven't even addressed the theme. Johnny, where does this game take place?
in the water.
Would you say it takes place on a world made of water?
Whoa! Wow.
If there, I dare you guys to claim that your game is more fitting for the theme than my game is tonight. I think I have the most watery game.
Johnny wins. He got the wettest.
I don't know.
No,
I might have a challenger.
my game took place on tropical islands, and I'm pissed because you beat me at my own game.
Yeah, he did it, man. He took it to you.
Yeah.
So Johnny, let's just keep it moving, man. Drink your own piss, and let's move on to game 3.
Game 4.
Oh, damn it.
Game 3.
Wow.
All right. So in this game, players can choose between 4 pairs of characters: George and Murphy, Al and John, Ed and Michael, and Billy and Jimmy. How is everybody feeling?
Can you give that trivia again?
I suppose. In this game, players can choose between 4 pairs of characters: George and Murphy, Al and John, Ed and Michael, and Billy and Jimmy. And as an addendum to that trivia, yes, that Billy and Jimmy.
Oh, fuck.
Johnny.
Oh, I don't know.
You just don't know your... I'm not going to make that. All right, so Johnny says Double Dill Dragon, which is incorrect. Could have gone with Double Bad Dragon. David says Double Dragon 3, which is also incorrect. And Jesse has the correct answer. It's Super Spike V-Ball. Hell yeah. The Double Dragon volleyball game that we all know and love.
Yep.
Not really. I mean, it's funny they included those guys. But if you ask me, like, what do I want to see my Double Dragon characters doing? Competing in a nationwide volleyball circuit might be one of the only things not on the list. But before we go on, I should say this is our fan request for the evening. Thank you very much, Kelly for the request. He hit us up with his request via email, gamethattune@gmail.com. So hit us there with your request. Thank you very much, Kel, for the request. And yes, Super Spike V-Ball. David, you look furious.
No, I'm just reading about this game to be able to contribute to the conversation.
I didn't realize that you hadn't played it, my man. It's an NES classic. That is not to say that it's on the NES Classic or featured in the Switch NES thing, but
It's an NES classic. Is it though?
It's kind of. It's a Technos developed volleyball game, which is why the music sounds so much like Double Dragon, because it's got the same composer as Double Dragon. It uses a lot of the same sound effects as Double Dragon. So if you ever want to spike a volleyball at somebody and have it sound like you hit them with a baseball bat, this is the game for you.
I'm very confused because I'm reading about this game and I see the Famicom version features a single tournament mode, which consists of 5 American matches in Daytona Beach, New York City, Chicago, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles, and 3 World Cup matches in Hawaii. Wouldn't those also be American matches?
That's the thing, man. This game came out in 1950, before Hawaii was admitted to the Union. That's really
They
the
were
only
still
plus.
the Sandwich Islands at the time.
Right. The developers were way off. No, honestly, I didn't realize that Hawaii wasn't part of the American set of matches. I thought they were like the final stage. Like, if you're that good at volleyball, yeah, you get a Hawaiian vacation. It's like the Pro Bowl for NFL, like you get to go. But I knew about the bonus matches where you play against the U.S. Navy and then eventually against the Russians and I think also the Japanese.
Wow.
So yeah, it's got a little of that punch out flavor. You get some of those national themes, like the U.S. Navy national theme. That's totally a thing. But yeah, this game's cool. It's just it's really something. The problem is I haven't played this at all, nor do I, to my knowledge, have any understanding of how this game can possibly be a 4-player NES game. Was there a multi-tap for the NES?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, see, I once I read that, I'm like, okay, well, I've misremembered something. Surely there's a multi-tap for the NES, but I was reading that, I'm like, 4 players.
They
Like,
called it the 4-score adapter.
really? When did it come out?
Oh, I don't know. 19
7 years ago?
or 1990.
Yeah,
I
no,
bet this
that's
game would be fun for players.
this game would be the shit 4 players. That's why I was so confused. I'm like, wait a minute, do I not know that there's a 4-player NES adapter? Like, are there any other NES 4-player games that I know of? Like, did anyone have that thing?
I did.
Of course you did.
I had it.
Duh.
Guess how many games I had that actually worked with it?
0.
I'm guessing none.
0 is the correct answer.
Cool.
Do I get a
Why
bonus?
did you have it,
Come in.
John?
Oh,
I meant to get games that would work with it, and I just never did. But
Oh,
I
this is
think
gonna
one
be
of the
so awesome when my friends come over. What games can you use with it?
Yeah. What friends do you have?
yeah,
we can take turns playing Zelda.
yeah. If I
Dude,
remember,
if it made any NES game into a 4-player game, now we're
Oh my
talking.
God.
Oh my god.
It turns Zelda into the original 4 swords. Like, yeah.
Double Dragon is single player unless you have the 4 score, and after that it's 4 player.
Yeah, you get 8 dragons.
I was just saying, like, all of a sudden you're playing Quad Dragon.
Yeah. Oh, quadruple dragon. God, that, I
Good
I
thing
suddenly
you-
realized we have a very untapped market here. Like, guess what, guys? 4-player video games, kind of normal now. Like,
How about
we could do it.
4-player Waterworld?
Yeah. Oh God. 4 Mariners, 4 Costners. Oh, I'm ready.
But the secret is you have to play as a different Costner. So one plays as Mariner, one plays as Robin Hood, one plays as Pa Kent.
And the other's the postman. Oh fuck yes.
Is
God,
Kevin Costner a
yeah.
good actor, or is he? I don't know if he is, because I feel like he's been in such shit. Like,
He's like an icon.
Episode title?
but like, is he an
Yeah.
icon in a good way?
Well, I mean, like he won the Academy Award for like Best Picture and Best Director for Dances with Wolves.
It's just I remember him being associated with Dances with Wolves, but I don't remember him being in Dances with Wolves.
He's the star and director of the fucking
Okay, I
movie.
couldn't remember if he was in Dances with Wolves.
It's like his fucking passion project. But yeah, he's the shit in like Bull Durham and Field of Dreams. Robin
Yeah.
He's kind of famously bad at Robin Hood. And then Waterworld blew up his career. The Postman further destroyed it. I'm trying to think of like Kevin Costner, like 1999 to like 2015. It's kind of a blank to me.
I'm trying to think. Oh god, who am I thinking of?
He was in Draft Day. He played the GM of the Cleveland Browns, which is the most Kevin Costner mid 2000s role of all time. Oh, I'd play 4-player Draft Day. That'd be the shit. Let's get back on the Super Spike V-Ball track. Fuck Kevin Costner.
Episode title.
Oh.
There will be no Costner in the episode title.
See, I was sitting here trying to think of like I didn't think Kevin Costner was in that movie, but I was thinking of Last of the Mohicans instead.
Oh,
so I was
fuck,
thinking
no,
of
he
like
ain't Last
Daniel Day
Mohican.
Lewis.
Now, if you want to get back on track a little bit with 4-player things,
Now, hold on. I would play a 4-player Last of the Mohicans game. That would be the shit.
one thing the NES 4 score had that was pretty interesting is it had buttons to where you could make everybody's A or B button be in like turbo mode. So you could all 4
Dope.
people have like turbo buttons.
Could you just turn it on for yourself and
No.
then make it so the other?
Everybody or it's everybody or nobody.
All for one or all for none, baby. Yeah, man. Super Spike V-Ball looks cool. I love just a good like kind of arcadey, volleyball game. Just arcadey sports in general are fun, and like that on the NES seems great. It's got fun stages. The Daytona stage, there's like monster trucks parked in the background for some reason. It takes place at the beach. I didn't really, look into it a whole lot after that because I'm like, well, that's Daytona, all right. I recognize that. There's
I've been
monster
there.
trucks
I mean,
everywhere.
that goes without saying.
Yeah. The only thing more accurate to Daytona is the Steal My Sunshine video by Len, because that was actually in Daytona. But besides that, it's Super Spike V-Ball. That was our previous high
really?
watermark for Daytona representation. Wait, did you not know about the Len video? That
I mean, I knew that video, but I didn't realize it was in Daytona. Now that you say that, that makes perfect sense.
that's what they did. They just went to fucking like Daytona and just shot the video for a couple of days. My brother loves telling that story. He didn't know those guys, but he hung out in Daytona so much because he was like a Daytona trash boy that he really loves that video. It's like it reminds me of being 15. I'm like, you're a fucking Daytona trash boy.
I definitely just found my new Twitter handle.
Daytona trash boy.
Hell yeah.
Well, it's like again, it's like, oh, I love that music video and everything. It's like, oh yeah, it was shot in Daytona. That makes so much sense all of a sudden.
Yeah, probably the cheapest way for a bunch of Canadians to have fun shooting a music video is to go to Daytona. But yeah, there's not much to say about Super Spike V-Ball. You pick your team. One of them is apparently the Double Dragons. And yeah, it's cool. It's volleyball. It's a little odd that they have a beach volleyball game and it's all men, and it's not Top Gun themed. Like,
Oh yeah.
it could be, God, if they had made this a Top Gun tie-in, that would have been pretty good. Like, you got to pick Maverick and Goose. Oh no,
Iceman.
I pulled a weird flex and I don't remember any of the other call handles from Top Gun. I was like Iceman and Joker.
Val Kilmer.
Yeah,
Val Kilmer. I think he was Iceman.
Iceman and Batman.
I love the idea. I love the idea of somebody in the Air Force using the call
Superman.
sign of Val Kilmer.
This is Kilmer. You can't use that. Yeah, he's sacred. Real talk. Val Kilmer was handsome as shit in that movie. Yeah,
Real
there's
talk,
not
Val
much.
Kilmer was a pretty good Batman. Like, not the best, but not the worst.
Well, no, that's the thing. It's easy to spot who's not. Yeah, if you're going by not the worst, then it's everybody but Clooney. Like, if that's the standard, like, as long as he's not the worst, he's first. You know, it's not that simple. He wasn't a very good Batman. But anyway,
but he
This
wasn't
took a whole
Clooney.
bunch of great turns.
yeah, there's not much to say about Super Spike People. It's a
So
volleyball
let's talk
game.
about Batman.
So let's rank the Batmans. You know, what do you guys
Okay.
think about Pattinson?
Okay, number
I think
one
that's
is
pretty
Kevin
cool.
Conroy. Clearly, like, the greatest.
Well, duh.
Debatable.
Yeah, nice hot take.
Yeah.
I'm not putting
Yeah.
hot takes down
Okay,
for that.
my previous hot take was Val Kilmer's not that bad. So I gotta, like, kind of go into the safe territory now.
It's not really a hot take. It's a wrong take. Val Kilmer's pretty bad. Like, but
But he's
yeah.
not the worst.
Exactly. Yeah. It could be worse. He could have been George Clooney.
Could have been Clooney.
Just terrible.
Oh,
But
poor
anyway.
Clooney.
Super Spike V-Ball's dope, and it's got a dope soundtrack, and it's volleyball on the NES. That's really all that needs to be said about it. Thank you, Kelly for the request, and Johnny, let's keep it going, my man.
Game 4.
Who has trivia?
All right. So
Okay.
this game, the narrative of this game is told wordlessly through gameplay and using cutscenes, taking place in a vast ocean. The setting and story is drew from Sumerian mythology and the cosmic ocean myth.
Sounds wet.
All right, guys. How do you think you're doing? You think you're going to stay afloat?
Oh, I'm in it. In it to win it.
Oh, man. Let's see those answers. Let's see. We got John with deep impact. Incorrect. We've got Johnny with a very unfortunate penis.
Wow.
And David with the correct answer, Abzu.
A what?
Abzu.
Abzu. Abzu.
It's like an old tool from medieval times. Carving wood.
The ads.
God damn it. No one was supposed to correct me on that.
Also, wow, that was an incredible Home Improvement reference.
I do a lot of crosswords, David. It comes up.
What the
God
heck?
damn it.
Whoa, that's the weirdest thing you've ever said. I have a lot of questions now.
No, you don't. Let's talk about Abzu.
So has anyone played this game?
I have not yet played it, but it is on my Switch wish list because I saw one of the trailers for it. It's like, this looks like an interesting game. Add to wish list with 20 other games.
Yeah.
Wait, is there a wish list feature that I'm not aware of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A swish list?
If you go into the Switch eShop, you can add it to your wish list and then come back to a wish list later to purchase games.
I would like a witch list. I would like to.
It's not, Johnny.
Rank witches. Number 1, Wicked Witch of the West.
Number 2, Bayonetta.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Number 3,
I feel like
The Good Witch of the East.
What about Gruntilda from Banjo-Kazooie?
Dude, she's a good witch, but she's bottom tier. I assume we're talking sexy witches. That's why John ranked the Wicked Witch number 1.
Well, when she steals Tootie's
Okay, yeah, no.
She's pretty fucking smoking.
Okay, no. Real talk. Earliest confusion boner, Gruntilda once she'd sucked the hotness out of Tootie. That was weird.
She is fucking oof.
I feel like if we're
Gave me
going
a
to talk about
Banjo-Kazooie.
normal witches or sexy witches, the 3 witches from Oh God, now I can't think of the name of that Disney
Sleeping Beauty.
No,
Hocus
now I
Pocus?
can't. Hocus Pocus. Like, yeah, they got to be like mid-tier because like Bette Midler
Because
with an
Kathy
ugly
the
nose
Jimmy.
and also like
Yes.
Sarah Jessica Parker in a blonde wig. Like that's some like yes, but kind of no.
Kathy and Jimmy straddling a vacuum cleaner. Top shelf witch. Mm.
Anyway, Abzu, Jesse.
Just in time for Halloween. Our wish list.
We're so timely.
So Abzu.
So this
Also,
game.
I'm
go
sorry,
ahead.
I hate to interrupt you for
No, it's
just
fine.
a moment, but
One more witch ranking.
no, I really want for a new like radio podcast buffer, just the like ranking witches, like opening the beer can, like Kathy to Jimmy writing a like
I want
vacuum
to
cleaner.
fuck Kathy and Jimmy. Crack open a beer.
That's what gets me going.
Thanks for listening.
I want that sound.
Patreon.com/game that too.
Anyway, Abzu.
All right, sorry, Jesse.
No, it's all good. So this game, I recently played it, and I will say I did beat it in one sitting, but it was like maybe 3 or 4 hours, and it was so good. It was like this experience, and so basically you start off, and it doesn't tell you anything. It tells you the controls, and that's it. And you're like this scuba diver, and you're just like swimming around, and like the ocean is so cool. Like all the fish, they seem pretty accurate as far as fish physics go. Like it kind of reminded me of like Echo back in the day, how they took pretty good care in how their fishes looked and stuff.
Echo is pretty accurate to fish life. If
Yeah.
I know anything about Echo, it's accurate to life in the ocean.
Yeah.
Can't believe Johnny ignored that whole thing.
Yeah. And so like you're swimming around and you really have no idea what you're supposed to be doing, and you find these things on the ocean floor, and you interact with them, and then like a certain type of fish will get put back into the life, like in the ecosystem. So like you're going around and like adding more fish to the ocean that are supposed to be there, and you find these like underground or underwater towers, and you swim in them, and I guess restore how the ocean is supposed to look. And eventually you run into the shark, and the shark like looks all mean and stuff, and you kind of avoid it. And then later on, like he ends up like helping you, and you end up helping it and stuff, and you grow like this weird bond with the shark. You just happen to bump into him every now and then when you're swimming around doing this stuff. There are these really cool fucking moments where like you start diving with like a pod of whales, and it's just like really done like dramatically. It like zooms in, and all the whales are going by you, and you're just swimming along the side, and you can like
Awesome.
grab onto different like sea life and like swim around on them. Like there's like this big red grouper I got on the back of, and we're just like swimming around having a good old time jumping out of the water and stuff.
Dude,
But
sounds really fun.
Yeah,
Like,
it's super
in like
chill
a
and
just a
cool,
completely abstract like art kind of way. But
like
yeah,
if
you're
you just
describing
wanna,
them like that sounds like some of the dreams that I have, like recurring dreams usually involve me maybe not flying, but like jumping really high and then like also swimming endlessly. And it's like, yeah, that sounds cool. Like I'd play that. And I don't, don't get me wrong. I have no intention of ever owning like a VR game, but like this sounds like it would be the shit in VR.
Oh yeah, probably would.
Just a sea life grabbing simulator where you grab onto sea turtles and float around with them. Like, yeah, no, that sounds really, really pleasant.
Yeah, like I said, I just started playing, and I was like, let's check this game out. And I just kept playing and playing and playing, wanting to see what was going to happen with that shark, around the corner, or like eventually you run into these weird like robot cube things that if you get too close to them, they'll electrocute the fuck out of you. And you're like, oh, these things are fucking with the ocean, so like you gotta fuck back.
That sounds a little less like the dreams I was having. My dreams usually involve swimming peacefully. There's not usually torture cubes, but
Yeah.
I mean, hey, it's a video game. You got to have something, right?
I was gonna say like floating peacefully and then something you have to fuck right back sounds exactly like the dreams that I've had. But
Yeah.
Floating endlessly, and then disembodied vagina just happens by, you fuck it right back. I mean, and then the rest of the body just forms around the vagina. Am I getting a little too deep? Too deep.
I want to.
Put
I kind of want to smile.
your ass to sleep.
I want to spoil a very minor detail.
go for it.
But
Wait a minute. Maybe all of us really care about spoilers for this fish grabbing game. Johnny, it's okay, man. If you don't want to be spoiled, tell Jesse right now.
so there's a giant squid in the game.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Johnny's taking his headphones off, so I'm going to
It's
take this
pretty cool.
opportunity to say,
And like
Wow,
fuck Johnny.
there's some like
No,
sperm
you gotta
whales down there,
overreact right now. You got
and like the sperm whales are like fighting with the squid. It's really badass. And like you can take control of some of the fish. It's really neat.
wow.
Fuck Sonic.
You're good.
I can't believe Darth Vader is his father.
But no, that
David. Cool, Johnny. Welcome back. No, awesome, man. That sounds really cool.
No, that does sound really cool, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
this
game
is,
sounds-
again, this is one of those games where I was like browsing through the Switch eShops, like, I want to look into this more. And I just haven't had the opportunity to play it, but it looks fucking cool.
And I mean, you said you cranked it out in one sitting, right? Like,
yeah, like it's short,
that's
but
cool. Like
it's
that's
a
the thing.
fun experience.
I'm getting well past the point in my life where I give a fuck about a game taking too long. Like, quite frankly, if I can get through a game really fast, it's almost a perk at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I got a kid. I
I
can't.
felt good. I
fucking-
was like, I beat a fucking game. Wow.
yeah.
See, that's why like I keep looking at Dragon Quest 11 like, oh, this game
No!
looks
Oh wait, you don't
awesome,
have
but
kids.
it's a 70
Yeah,
plus
go for it.
game.
You got that.
No.
I felt like such a fucking fool, like, having to finally come to terms with my video game buying habits in like the lead up to and then in the immediate aftermath of having the baby. It's like, why did I ever think I needed to buy Monster Hunter World and Persona 5 the same year I was having a baby? What
Yeah,
the
that's
fuck? Like, I don't have any time. So, a game in which you could beat it in like one sitting, possibly after the baby's gone to bed. That's my kind of game nowadays, my man.
Yeah,
So-
especially have a few drinks and chill out with this game, and it's just a fucking great experience. Although you might cry at one point, but so
I mean, yeah, I do that in most things now.
yeah,
It's just, I also
That's
chalk
just
that
adult
up to.
life,
It's-
honestly.
it ultimately is a beautiful experience. Like I watched all the credits and shit. Like I was on board. This game was really good.
Yeah, I dig it, man. That's cool. I like a good relaxing short game that maybe gets you right in the feels. That sounds really appealing to me at this moment in time. So, did you play the Switch version, or did you get it on Xbox, or what?
I play it on Xbox.
Okay, cool. Just checking.
No,
Because I'm about it. I think it sounds great.
It's on like everything. So like Johnny could probably play it on a Linux something or another.
And so I guess my question was like, or would be like, there's an objective to the actual game. Like, it is a game that you kind of play and beat. Like, I was trying to think of previous games. My brain goes back to like the Wii when they came out with like Endless Ocean, and it's like there's kind of objectives to these like underwater exploration games, but there's no real
I feel
punishment
like-
for not doing it. But like this game, actually, you play it, you there's a narrative of some form, and
Yes.
you beat the game. Like, it sounds good. It sounds really good.
Like the way it plays, it's such a way that it'll make you, I guess if your brain works like mine did, which I assume is how they want you to play it, is you'll be swimming around exploring, and you'll see something off to the distance that is like twinkles or something, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go swim over there, and then you'll swim over there, release some new fish into the biome, and then when you over there you see something else, and you're like, oh, let me go swim over there and see what that is, and like it's kind of like exploring fairly.
All right. I apologize for this trivia, guys. I gotta bust into my Japanese pronunciation voice for this. In Japan, this game was subtitled Kaizo Kujima no Daiboken, or The Adventure of Pirate Island. Anybody want me to complete the game title as we're preparing our answers?
Yes.
Yes.
So the complete Japanese game title is Goofy to Maxu Kaizo Kujima no Daiboken. And it is one of the first games designed by Shinji Mikami, who went on to direct the Resident Evil game.
Oh, those games are very similar.
Very!
Wait.
Damn it, Jesse. David hadn't held his answer up yet.
Well, fucking, you're supposed to do it after the trivia. How many fucking letters do you gotta jot down?
I keep misspelling the last one.
Really? You misspelled troop. So Johnny
That's
says
a
Super
P, not
Adventure
an
Island.
R.
Oh, yeah, that's
Goof
a terrible P.
Troar.
Yeah. David says Goof Troar, which is incorrect, and Jesse says Goof Troop.
God damn it, that's
correct.
a P. I get a point.
God.
I just assumed
Okay.
David kept spelling it like theater troupe.
Goof Troop. Yeah, a bunch of minstrels.
That'd be a great name for an improv group. We're the Goof
Dude,
Troop.
the Goof Troop would be really good. Oh, fantastic.
This was really subtitled "The Adventures of Pirate Island."
Adventure on either Adventure of Pirate Island or Adventure on Pirate Island. Actually, my Japanese translator wasn't working all that well when I tried to decode that one. Which really leads me to my main question. As a guy that grew up loving Disney and loving Goofy, why did they feel the need to make Goof Troop an adventure on Pirate Island?
Well, don't you remember Don't you remember the cartoon Goof Troop on the Disney Afternoon, like the adventures of Goofy and his son in suburbia America, Pirate Island?
Right. That's the thing. I know that Goofy and Max live in Spoonerville, and I think it's very odd that this game would take place on an island of pirates. As the story goes for the game, Goofy and Max go off on a fishing trip, and then a pirate ship appears, and it looks like Pete is being held hostage on the pirate ship, so they have to go, investigate. First and foremost, why bother? Pete's a dick.
Which you'd think it would be weird that Pete would be considered a captive of pirates and not the leader of the pirates, considering originally he was Peg Leg Pete.
See, that's the thing. So, in this game, it looks like he's captive, and then the captain of the ship gets eaten by a whale or something, and the captain also looks like Pete. So Pete assumes control of the ship because he likes people stroking his ego and treating him like the captain. And so Goofy and Max have to go through a series of levels, and then at the end they have to fight Pirate Pete. But it's not Pete, it's the actual pirate Keelhaul Pete. And it turns out Pete and Max are going to be like fed to an alligator or something. The story in this is nonsense. That's what I'm trying to tell you now.
I'm looking up this game, and all I see is players can collect various items to use, including a grappling hook. And I feel like Goofy being given a grappling hook is a recipe for disaster.
No, it's not, man, because actually the game's a lot of fun. That's the thing. So this is a 2-player game. You can play it 1 player, but if you play it 1 player, you get pretty fucking tired of it because it's clear that the entire game was designed to be played 2 players. But yeah, it's Goofy with a hook shot. It's the shit. It's cool. You can grab shit. You can stun guys. You can't attack anybody directly. Seriously, this game plays like Link to the Past, but you're Goofy and Max. You can grab pots and rocks and things and throw them at people. You can push blocks to solve puzzles. And yeah, you shoot people with a fucking hook shot. It's actually, yeah, this game's kind of shit. If I had any friends back in the day, it would have been a lot of fun to play this with them. My older brother certainly wasn't the type to play Goof Troop, the game back then. He was a Daytona trash boy. He wanted to play Mega Man X instead.
I do feel like I remember reading an interview with Shinji Mikami, either in Nintendo Power or Nintendo Force, or maybe on Nintendo Life. Somebody had interviewed him where they were talking about highlights of his career, and I definitely remember him saying well, before Resident Evil 4 came out, I feel like Goof Troop was the peak of my career. He loves this game.
Love it. Yeah, that's so funny that Shinji Mikami, he was, I guess, just a young programmer at Capcom, and it's all right, let's show us what you got. And it's here's the thing, I'm thinking 2 protagonists, Goofy and Max. And it's all right, cool, that's all I need to know. Make it, and then you can make another game with 2 protagonists a little bit later on. Am I right, folks? Resident Evil, basically the sequel to Goof Troop.
Oh my god. I want to make a video edit of every time that Chris Redfield gets killed in a Resident Evil game and just add the goofy sound to it.
I'm into it.
He's so good.
Sold.
Yeah. Quite frankly, I've never been more into any of your ideas than that one. But yeah, I mean, Goof Troop, it's fun, man. It's simple puzzles. It's easy. But it's the kind of thing where it's if it's fun to play with a friend, it doesn't have to be challenging, there's no need to make this hard. You and a friend hang out, you play this game for a couple hours, you're done. You go back and play it by yourself, yeah, you get a little bored. But like with a friend, solving easy, like I think one of the things with games is solving easy puzzles with a friend immediately makes everything less easy. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
This Goof Troop, it's not that hard to not die. Like, playing it with a friend, it turns into like, okay, no, seriously, go there, hit the fucking switch. No, do it. Like, like it's like playing all my experiences playing 4-player like Super Mario Brothers. It's like, yeah, this is a fucking nightmare. Like everybody's just bumping into each other and wrecking shit. Like, this never should have happened. But yeah, I love games like this. Yeah, I love SNES Disney games. But my so my main question again, why Adventure on Pirate Island? I didn't watch much Goof Troop back in the day because it was on Disney Channel, and I didn't have Disney Channel. It's just it's a blind spot for me. Like David, you watched a lot of Goof Troop. Were there many pirates on the show?
I can't say that there were. Like, based upon the show Goof Troop, Max and Goofy, like, pairing up to do things makes perfect sense. But setting them on Pirate Island as opposed to suburban Spoonerville, like, makes less sense. I mean, I kind of feel like them going on a vacation to some sort of tropical location where pirates... Like, that kind of fits in.
Or they go
but
to
also
a theme park named Pirate Island. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a game where Goofy and Max go to a water park together. No, see, that's the thing. I didn't watch a whole lot of Goof Troop. What I did watch a whole lot of was a Goofy movie.
Yes.
And so my main thought is, like, why didn't they make a Goofy movie the game for SNES? Like, that would have been the shit. It practically is made to be a fucking game. Like,
I would love to play the
levels.
level where you have to heat up
Spoonerville High School. You got to fucking defeat the boss to set up the AV thing to impersonate Powerline in front of the student assembly. And then you got to go, there's driving levels involving, your car overloaded with crazy road trip crap. There's levels set all over America because Goofy and Max are going on a vacation together. There's fishing mini games.
There's heating up cans of soup with your cigarette lighter mini games.
Fuck yeah, man. I love. Oh god, I love a fucking Goofy movie. Oh, I can't wait for Disney Plus.
Ooh, don't knock over the Leaning Tower of Cheesa mini game.
There's the Leaning Tower of Cheesa game. That could be a power.
It's like now I never thought I wanted anything more in my life than a 16-bit SNES version of the soundtrack of a Goofy movie. Like,
dude,
we need a 16-bit version of Eye to Eye.
8-bit Eye to Eye, baby. Or 16-bit Eye to Eye would be fantastic. Like, I just don't understand why it didn't happen. Like, it makes way more sense than Goofy and Max on Pirate Island. Like Goofy and Max, USA Adventure, a Goofy movie, the game. Like, eventually you got like an Oregon Trail style like river mini game where you have to like dodge boulders and not and keep the car from going over the waterfall. There's a whole weird backstage set at the Powerline concert. And eventually you get to see a 16-bit spread of Goofy doing the perfect cast dance. I mean, it just makes perfect sense. I would have played that game endlessly. Instead, Goof Troop, a game I rented a couple of times. But if it was a Goofy movie, the game, like, it would have been an all-timer. Like, had to have it, fucking...
Oh, Pauly Shore voice samples.
Oh, dude, yeah, digitized 16-bit Pauly Shore, uncredited in Goof Troop, by the way, John. So we don't know that that's actually Pauly Shore saying "Leaning Tower of Cheesa."
Ah.
Yeah, uncredited, David. But yeah,
for podcast listeners, that was me moving my mic out of the way so I could lean into the camera with
Could you not hear David's brow furrowing?
We don't know that that's Pauly Shore. You lie like a goddamn rug.
I mean, as a child, it was like, well, that's obviously Pauly Shore. But then I'd be like looking at the cast in the credits, like, he's not listed. It must be somebody else. How could it not be Pauly Shore? Like, they wouldn't have somebody in a movie and not give them credit. Why would they have that? That's unheard of. You know, I'm 9.
Nobody's
I
ever
understand
done
movies.
That was not Michael Jackson on The Simpsons. That was not Dustin
John J.
Hoffman.
Smith. Yeah. John J. Smith. It was Sam Enick. I know these things. Yeah. It's all there in the cast list. All the facts. But yeah, man, a Goofy movie is the shit. And seriously, like, I've been like waiting for years to not have to pay Amazon to rent a digital copy of a Goofy movie. Disney Plus is coming soon, and if they just came out with an ad that said like, "Hey, we're Disney Plus, we're here. We have a Goofy movie streaming nonstop." I'm like, here's your $9. I'm done. Like, I would gladly pay Disney $9 to watch a Goofy movie a couple of times a month. Like, I love that movie.
Oh, that's probably like, I was terrified when Disney was like, we're going to have a streaming service. Like, okay, Disney films on streaming, that's problem number one. Then you add in the Marvel stuff. Then you add in the Star Wars stuff. Like, God, take my money. I want this constantly.
I care so little about those other things. I care so much more about a Goofy movie being available in a very easy format.
You know, John,
versus like
you can buy it on Amazon, like, and have it tied to your account for the rest of your life for $10 versus
don't trust it.
versus spending $9 repeatedly every month.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
You can
that's the
spend
thing.
$10 once.
So, you know, I'm spending $9 a month on Disney Plus to get a Goofy movie, and the rest of their catalog is just icing
like
on the cake.
The fucking Mandalorian, like
Yeah,
fuck.
whatever that is. Yeah.
I love the idea that like Disney Plus is basically just a single cupcake and everything else is just like 6 pounds of icing piled on top.
A Goofy movie is the cupcake.
Hey,
Everything else is the icing.
Is the Gummy Bears cartoon gonna be on there?
Dude, if it is, then that's okay. Then there's gummy bears baked into the cupcake because that also sounds pretty appealing.
Because that fucking intro song, I could listen to that every day.
Dude, if you have this is my point where I'm gonna grind the podcast to a halt and get on my Disney soapbox.
Johnny, let's go to the calculated computer.
If you have not been watching the rebooted DuckTales, they make references to the Gummy Bears cartoon, and it's fucking great.
Oh, I
Yeah,
haven't
okay.
seen those yet.
I don't
it's
know of
so
those
good.
references, but the rebooted DuckTales is the shit. And if it's on Disney, see, that's the thing, actually. So, you know, it's mostly cartoon based that I want that fucking subscription service. I want a Goofy movie. I want the rebooted DuckTales. I want Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Like, I just want good Disney cartoons. That's all.
that
I
was
want.
So,
a
like,
good
if Disney
Avengers
Plus comes
cartoon.
with Condor, man, you won't give a shit.
Not interested. But you know, Earth's Mightiest Hero, like, just, you know, good cartoons to show my son that I secretly also am loving the entire time. Yeah, you've got my money, mouse.
I
Although
am
props for
secretly loving it.
referencing,
Like,
All hail the mouse.
I was gonna say props for referencing Earth's Mightiest Heroes because that's the best Marvel
It
cartoon.
is.
It's the
That's
shit.
so fucking good.
in
Dude, when they
order-
canceled that and replaced it with Avengers Assemble, I was kind of,
That was
you know,
so
I'm
dumb.
a little furious.
In order to keep up the facade of secretly loving it, do you, like, every time your kid watches it, do you have to, like, pretend you really don't want to watch it, or like,
Oh, watching them girly cartoons again,
Yeah.
huh, son? Ugh.
Hey, all right, dork ass, we'll put on Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Friendly reminder
Two-year-old.
to our friendly reminder to our audience that John's son is what, a year and a half?
13 and a half months, my man. So, yeah, when
Oh,
Disney Plus
okay.
comes out,
I was
He'll
really
be,
concerned. You said you started with 13. I was like, oh my god, like 13 and a half. Oh, months.
You've lost a lot
Ha-
of time.
ha-
that's
son.
my.
Cartoons. All right, dork ass.
You forgot about my secret 13-year-old son, John.
from your secret family.
Yeah, that's a podcast exclusive. The other Harrington family.
That you apparently fathered at the age of 10?
What do you think the Patreon money's for?
Wait, whoa.
How old do you think I am, David?
No, wait. Okay.
13
I have
by
worked
his
on my
however-
math
Same
accurately.
13 by his however old John is way older than 10. Like, John is not 23. I'm sorry.
How old are you?
You just look so youthful.
Wow.
That's an adorable
Oh my
save,
God.
David.
We all really have
Oh
issues
my
with time as a concept.
Ugh, fuck, man.
Oh, how many times have you been hit in the head with a chair?
Several.
Okay.
I mean,
Anyway,
Oh, that's the funniest thing.
2.
David's horrific memory issues aside, Goof Troop is a fantastic game.
What a goof.
Yeah, exactly. Gorsh. Johnny,
I thought
it's
you were
time
23.
I'm
to save
happy that I'm
David from
able to
having
get
to
a
discuss this
Condor
further.
Man reference.
Let us start the calculating computer.
Calculating computer activated.
You hear that like balloons, rubbing sound? Like
Oops. Scoring complete. This game's winner is Jesse Moore.
Hell yeah, Jesse, you did it. You won this week's episode because you're just a beach bum, man. I get it. It was a great game. Fantastic episode of beachy, watery themes that Jesse's just living that life. He's got the Hawaiian shirt trumps tank top. And Jesse pulled away for the win. So excellent game, my man. And I gotta ask, what do you got in mind for the theme for next week's episode?
So, to go along with David's summary theme, when we were kids and it was summertime, we tried to get jobs so we could buy video games, right?
Yeah.
So, how about video games where you have jobs in them?
I like it.
And you can take that, if you can justify it, then you can use it. Like hell, all the Final Fantasy games, they have jobs. So,
You're right. I mean,
I'm back in my brain. I think we've already used Beavis and Butthead. I know you have a job in that game. I think. Well, maybe not.
right. No, I mean, I was racking my brain because in my Game That Tune sponge brain, I was like, I know we've done games with jobs
Oh, I think we have.
somewhat recently. It's not somewhat recently. It's it's past our 100th episode, but yeah, no, it's not exactly recent. So yeah, games with
It's like
jobs.
somewhat recently, 70 episodes ago.
Yeah, no, exactly. Less than
all-
50 episodes
It
ago.
turns out we're all really bad with the concept of time and how long ago things were and all that. Like,
Especially when it comes to podcasts, because I was like, Jesse, Jesus Christ, we just did games with jobs, and I looked. We did it in episode 125, so nearly a year ago. Cool. I'm into it. Games with jobs. I'm happy to revisit that because the last time we did it was a lot of fun and a lot of hot nonsense. So I like it. Fantastic theme, man. Fantastic game, and thank you everybody for enjoying this episode tonight. Thanks to everybody watching along live with us. We're live every Wednesday night on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. Check us out. Search for Game That Tune, and you'll find us. Our podcasts come out in podcast form on the following Wednesdays. We're available anywhere you get your podcast. I don't have to say iTunes anymore because iTunes isn't a thing. So we're available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Game That Tune. You'll find us there. We appreciate you guys listening in podcast form. We appreciate everybody checking out patreon.com/Game That Tune. It's the home for fun exclusives. We really promise, pinky swear, we're going to get our movie commentaries going again. We got Jesse's Covered Up Show. We got GTT Gems. We every now and then throw a mixtape up there. We have a lot of fun, and your support helps us improve our equipment, improve our show, run our 24/7 live stream over on YouTube, which, as of this recording, has not quite hit the new 1 year mark, but as of the podcast form, will have hit the 1 year mark. So another year of GTT radio on YouTube. Thanks to everybody over there at patreon.com/Game That Tune. So we really do appreciate you guys supporting the show. Special thanks to our superfan tier producers, Alex Messenger, Lance Revere, Damian Beckles, Bradford Stevens, and our newest Superfan tier producer, Kelly He is hitting us up at that Superfan tier. So welcome to the credits list, my man Kel. Thank you so much, all of you guys, for being patrons. And our request tonight came from Kellyanne. Kellyanne had fucking what's that word? Request priority. That's the thing. Somebody else tried to make a request. Guess what? I chose the guy that paid us. So you should go to Patreon and pay us for request priority, and then I'll have to consider yours too. But Kellyanne hit us with his request, gamethattune@gmail.com. But you can also find us in our Discord server. Hit us up in our request channel there. You can send us your requests on GTT Radio, though that's not a guaranteed way to get us to actually pay attention to it. But check us out at youtube.com/GameThatTune. Or you can find us on Twitter at GameThatTune. Slide into those DMs with those requests. Or you can hit us up individually on Twitter. We love hearing from you guys. Love talking about video games, video game music, all kinds of hot nonsense. I'm there at JGangsta187. You can find John Regan on Twitter at
Daytona Nasty Boy.
Hey, I really, really hope you change your Twitter handle. You can find David Fleming on Twitter at
DFD Fleming.
And you can find Jesse Moore, this week's winner, on Twitter at
Sega_legend.
Hell yeah, my man. So, Jesse, you got the bonus tunes. What are you taking us home with tonight?
So, me and the wife are going to Daytona for a video game competition / wrestling event.
Yeah!
Fighter Fest. So I figured, why not find a chiptune version of one of my favorite wrestlers who's going to be there, Kenny Omega.
Hell yeah. Peace out, everybody.
This is actually Cody Rhodes. My bad.
Star Tropics is copyright 1990, Nintendo of America Incorporated. Waterworld is copyright 1995, Ocean Software Limited. Super Spike V-Ball is copyright 1990, Technos Japan Corporation. Abzu is copyright 2017, Giant Squid Studios and 505 Games. Goof Troop is copyright 1993, Capcom Company Limited. Now, Jesse, you want to do a clean take of that finish?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Do you want me to start just at the top?
Let's do it. I'm recording it on my end, so I'll get it.
Okay. So, yeah, me and the wife are going to Daytona for a video game competition / wrestling event called Fighter Fest. So I wanted to pick the chiptune version of one of my favorite wrestlers, Cody Rhodes.
Hell yeah, man. Smash that throne. Peace out, everybody.